Why does making friends as an adult feel so
What
hard?
should I wear on a first
What the
date?
hell is a formal?
But that
Why
hookup
is
was
buying my
not
first
good.
home so
What do I want my
frustrating?
life to look like in 5 years?
We want to know too.
Since 2012, The Everygirl has been an online destination to help women around the world achieve the life of their dreams. Now, we're excited to bring you the same inspiring content with the Everygirl podcast.
Hey, Everygirls. I hope you're all doing okay. It's been a crazy, scary week. Being here in LA and being so close to the raids, I feel really heartbroken, and I always want to share everything with you. So it feels impossible not to address it this week. I feel so sick for these communities, for families. I am really proud of my city for how people have come together and the very peaceful protests. I've been so sick to my stomach about it. So if you feel that way, I get it. It's really hard to focus on or think about anything else. On top of it, you guys, I posted this TikTok about it and the men found my TikTok, which is a scary place to be because I usually protect myself from any contact with men, especially men who believe the shit, you know? And it's obviously a lot of just uneducated nonsense, which, like, whatever. One guy also commented that I had to curl my hair, and that must have been really hard for me, which seems sexist, but I have no idea what it was supposed to mean, so it didn't land. But honestly, the scariest comment of all was like, leave it to the sensitive people to get upset about something that doesn't affect their lives at all. Imagine your argument being that you should only care about what affects you. Like, you know how much I talk about empathy on here. How sad and burnt out and small must you be to not be able to hold any amount of compassion, to not be able to care about other people, and furthermore, to think it's negative that people care about other people? Imagine how small your world has to be and how sad you have to feel to get to that place. I honestly hated that argument even long before this happened. I remember, like, before the election and talking about it with people, and some people would be like, well, don't worry, you live in California, so any abortion laws wouldn't affect you or whatever. I cannot imagine thinking that way. I cannot imagine feeling like, oh, thank God it doesn't affect me, so I don't have to worry about it. I cannot fathom that mindset. I cannot fathom your heart not breaking for people that are going through this shit. So I responded to this guy, my guy Steve, that's his username, saying, empathy is the greatest skill and superpower that we have. So truly, thank you for saying that to me. That means a lot. So guys, it's been a fucking terrifying week. I have no words of wisdom to help, but I don't think what we're dealing with needs words of wisdom to help, because I think we all need to lean in. Those videos of children sobbing after their parents, or the thought of an elementary school getting raided, like, it hurts so bad, I know, but don't look away. Don't go numb. I think this time in our history is going to show us how big our hearts can get. I promise you, your heart is big enough to feel it all. So, sorry if you came here looking for an escape from the news. We will get back to business as usual, but I have to share with you what's on my heart. And I want to let anyone listening who this may resonate with know that this is a safe space for you. But welcome back to another Ask the Everygirl episode. You know the drill. This is the segment where you submit a question and we give you some advice. And today we're diving into something that has a lot of emotional layers, and I think a lot of us relate to this question. This listener writes in, I'm on a fitness journey and have lost a ton of weight over the last several months. I feel so good and so strong and so much better than I have in years. I'm so proud of my accomplishments, but one of my best friends is disappointed in me. She feels like me losing weight is fatphobic and refuses to acknowledge any of my gym accomplishments. She's judgmental and always seems to be upset with me these days. It's making me feel weird about my own body in a way I don't feel comfortable addressing with her. Would love to know if you have any advice for setting boundaries here, or how to feel less scrutinized for just existing. First of all, to the every girl who submitted this, congratulations. It sounds like you really need to hear that. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. And I'm not saying congrats on the weight loss, but for what it sounds like is being in alignment with the person you want to be, for showing up for your body, your energy, yourself. That deserves a freaking standing ovation because it's obvious to me that you did the hard thing and put in the effort to show up for yourself, especially when you say you feel better than you have in years. Wow, I am so proud of you. And I most of all really hope you are proud of you. And you might also need to hear this. You are allowed to feel good in your body. You are allowed to be proud of yourself. You are allowed to change. And that pride that you're feeling, that deep knowing that you've worked hard, you've stayed consistent, you've listened to your body, you've built a new kind of relationship with yourself, you've made yourself proud, that is sacred. No one gets to take that from you. Now, let's talk about your friend. I think the obvious thing here is that your friend's reaction is actually not at all about you. It's a complete reflection of herself. Your friend is likely not reacting to you. She's reacting to what your change brings up in her. And yes, that's very painful, but it's also not your responsibility to fix. I want to talk about that word fatphobic for a second because it's really important and it also gets weaponized in ways that aren't always productive. This is a moment where two truths can exist at once. It is possible that your friend is deeply sensitive to anti-fat bias because of her own lived experience or advocacy work. And it's also true that your decision to move your body, nourish it differently, and feel empowered in your health is not fatphobic. Fat phobia refers to the fear, the hatred, or the discrimination against fat bodies. It's the belief, whether it's conscious or unconscious, that thinness is inherently healthier, more beautiful, more worthy. And fat phobia is everywhere. It's baked into our media, our healthcare system, our dating culture, our clothing sizes. The roots of fat phobia are so extremely deep. Scholars like Sabrina Strings have talked about how fat phobia is deeply intertwined with anti-Blackness and colonialism because the idea of a disciplined, thin body became associated with whiteness, morality, and superiority. And then diet culture came in hot, capitalizing on insecurities, pushing weight loss products, and convincing generations of women that their worth was directly tied to how little space they took up. There are so many incredible authors, much more qualified to talk about fat phobia than me, by the way. I recommend the book Fearing the Black Body, The Racial Origins of Fat Phobia by Sabrina Strings or Unshrinking by Kate Main. So unpacking this fat phobia comment is really deep and it's layered as hell. And I just feel like I need to touch on that and give some context to that comment because there's a lot of weight to that. For the sake of untangling the little bit of guilt I may be hearing from this question, when someone says something is fatphobic, they're usually naming a system or a behavior that perpetuates these harmful beliefs, like assuming someone is unhealthy because of their size, praising weight loss as inherently virtuous, or shaming someone for gaining weight. We all likely have internalized harmful cultural messaging. Being anti-fat phobic is about becoming more aware of what we say, how we think about our bodies, and how we support each other in unlearning that conditioning. Pursuing health or weight loss for your reasons is not inherently fat phobic. You can love and advocate for body diversity and want to feel strong, energized, or just more at home in your own body. It is not mutually exclusive. The important difference to me is intention. Your intention was about feeling good. And you even said it yourself. I feel so good and so strong and so much better than I have in years. So you can kindly remind your friend that your changes had everything to do with how you feel, not how you look. And you can still advocate for body diversity while taking care of your own body in the way that feels best for you. But when it comes to dealing with this friend, I would really say, first of all, lead with empathy. Like I said, her reaction has everything to do with her and nothing to do with you. We live in a world that has conditioned all of us to believe our bodies determine our worth. which creates a lot of sensitivity and deeply rooted, complicated relationships with our bodies. And when you start stepping out of that system, it can be threatening to the people who still feel in it. So lead with empathy, even if it's just in your own mind. Think about what it feels like for her to not have the connection and care with her body that you have, which I'm just assuming based on the fact that she doesn't understand the changes you made being for how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I advise you to lead with empathy is really as a benefit for you. When we feel criticized by anyone, it's so easy to look at ourselves and ask, what does that mean about us? What are they trying to say about me? Is something wrong with me? Are they right about me? So, in order to not let these comments bother you, you have to put the energy mentally back onto her, not on yourself. That must feel awful to not have this positive, amazing relationship with movement and with food that I have learned. Feel empathy for where she is in her journey, and I swear those comments won't bother you as much. Like I always say, we don't always need to change the trigger. We might just need to change how we think about the trigger to no longer let it trigger us. In this situation, and in a lot of situations, I think that the way you no longer let it trigger you is through empathy. But let's talk about boundaries since you asked, and you don't owe anyone a justification for how you feel in your body. First of all, you decide the boundary. Boundaries are not actually what we expect from other people, it's what we do in response to other people. A boundary is an action step for you. This is the biggest misconception I see about boundaries because we talk about it like for example, my boundary is not getting cheated on. That's just the first one that came to mind, which is a good boundary. I guess we should all have that. But then let's say you get so mad at someone if they cross that boundary. Like if you get cheated on, then you're so mad at them. You really hope that they change. You're fighting to get them to change, whatever. But that's actually not a boundary. That's not how a boundary works. A boundary would be, I won't accept being cheated on, so I will leave any and all relationships where cheating occurs. It's about what you do, not what someone else does. So remember that a boundary is actually an action for you. A boundary in this case might sound like, I won't discuss my body or my health goals with her anymore. So you know that you can't control her actions or anyone else's, but you can control whether or not you engage when she talks about it. Or a boundary can also look like, I won't absorb shame when I feel pride. Again, you're not changing the trigger. You are no longer allowing it to trigger you. It might just look like not engaging when she makes a passive-aggressive comment. Protecting your peace doesn't always require a long conversation. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to just honor what's right for you. Maybe the boundary is, I will not share this part of my life with this friend anymore, and I will change the subject when she brings it up. If you do feel comfortable having a conversation with her, maybe you're really close, so you do want to share this part of your life with her, I would bring it up like, I love you, and I always start with I love you, and we're not doing I love you, but we're doing I love you, and I love you, and I know our relationships with our bodies are complex, but this journey I've been on has made me feel really empowered. And I'd love to be able to share that joy with you without any expectation or beliefs about how you should act. I want to share my experience and my empowerment and my life with you, if and when you're open to it. Another example of a fair boundary you can have, again, it's up to you to decide the right boundaries that are supportive of your happiest life. But a very fair boundary might be, I do not put energy into friendships that do not wholeheartedly support me. Maybe she doesn't respond to the conversation well, or you've already seen enough data from her to make you feel like cutting off that friendship is the right decision for you. This is obviously a complicated topic to not know the full picture and all the details, which is why I said that she very well might be deeply sensitive to anti-fat bias because of her own lived experience or advocacy or beliefs. And again, that doesn't have anything to do with you, and we can tread sensitively here. But with that part of it aside, like just addressing the part about her being disappointed in you when you feel like you're proud of yourself and she's being judgmental of you and your choices, I think you know your true friends based on how they respond when you're winning. Like, you know how they say you know your true friends based on who's there for you when times get tough? I actually disagree. I think a lot of people love to be the savior. They love to be the therapist. It makes them feel better about their life to hear you hate yours. Misery loves miserable company. I actually would be more wary of the people who commiserate with you when you're not doing well, because they might be even subconsciously glad you're struggling because it makes them feel better about themselves. I think your real friends are your biggest fans. The ones that are celebrating with you through all of your wins, that are as happy as you are about your successes in life. Because I'll tell you what, I have a lot more friends that would be there for me if I lost my job tomorrow than friends who are listening to the podcast and telling me how proud they are of me. You know what I'm saying? And here's a PSA to all friends out there. It is not our job to decide what is or isn't right for our friends. It's our job to support them in whatever they think is right for themselves. And it's okay to expect your friends to trust you when you tell them what's right for you. That's a perfectly great prerequisite for friendship. Whether it's about a relationship or health changes, whatever, I trust my friends when they tell me what's right for them and support them instead of projecting my perspective onto them. And I expect my friends to trust me and do the same. It's one thing if you need advice, it's one thing if you need the occasional reality check here and there. But if my friend has a boyfriend I don't necessarily like, or if my friend is working hard on health goals that she's telling me she feels amazing about, it is my only job to support her decisions and make her feel empowered in herself. I really think that real love is helping people trust themselves more. So it is also okay if your boundary is, I will only invest my energy and time into friendships that don't make me feel judged, and I will only invest my energy and time into friendships that aren't disappointed in my life choices that I feel good about. But again, I leave which boundary is best up to you because I don't know all the facts. And like I said, I do believe this topic in particular requires a lot of sensitivity and empathy. I would just think about, is this a particularly sensitive topic for your friend that she is projecting onto you? And you can heal a lot of that with how you lead with empathy or with that conversation we talked about. Or does her judgment and disappointment show up in other areas as well? Last thing I will leave you with is a reminder. Your job is not to make other people comfortable, especially at the expense of your own growth and well-being. You know that saying, don't light yourself on fire to keep other people warm? Remember that. You are evolving. The hardest part about growth is that not everyone will come with you. Some people you love will grow with you. Some will not. Some may catch up later, and some won't. I love the saying, run fast for what you want and see who's running with you. It's not your job to slow down or to go a different route. It's your job to notice who's running with you to where you want to go. Go after your goals and pursue your highest self unapologetically, and the right people will match your pace. And maybe that will be this friend. Matching your pace doesn't have to be sharing your same goals. It can look like, I understand you and I want you to feel empowered, so let me support you in the way that you ask me to. But just remember, especially I want to mention this because you said that she feels like she's disappointed in you. Your job is to disappoint as many people as it takes to avoid disappointing yourself. Everybody listening, let's aim to be so proud of ourselves and so unapologetic in our pursuit of happiness that we stop seeing others' disappointment as something to fix and instead see it as a sign that maybe we're on the right path because we've stopped disappointing ourselves. If this episode resonated with you, if you've ever felt like shrinking yourself to make others comfortable, if you're in the middle of a transformation and feeling unsupported, leave a comment or review, especially since this listener is feeling unsupported. We are a community of badass women who cheer for each other. Your wins are as safe as your losses here. And remember, if you have a question you want answered on air, DM us at the Everygirl Podcast. I'll see you guys next week for a phenomenal wellness episode with a guest you guys have been asking for. Have a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know I sure did. Please do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really makes a huge difference for our show so we can keep growing and bringing the content that you love. If you want more info, you can find us at The Everygirl Podcast on Instagram or theeverygirlpodcast.com. Talk to you next week.